If you feel like you're doing everything right, you're working out, you're eating clean, and yet the belly fat is sticking to you, especially if you're in your 30s or 40s, I've got news for you. It's not your lack of willpower, it's your physiology at this point in time. But you absolutely can lose the stubborn belly fat. And in this video, I'm going to give you my 5-step flat belly protocol, which works specifically for women in their 30s and 40s. You know that what you did in your 20s doesn't work now, and I'm going to explain exactly why that's the case. It's science, it's strategy backed, and I'm even going to show you a client case study of how we brought down Kate's belly fat. She was 44, perimenopausal, and thought no matter what she did, she couldn't get rid of her stubborn belly fat, and she did. So stay tuned for my 5-step flat belly protocol. Firstly, we need to talk about what is cortisol belly. You might have heard the word cortisol bouncing around a lot. You might have heard cortisol belly, cortisol face, like where you have a very puffy and inflamed face. And cortisol is quite simply your body's primary stress hormone. It is released in response to stressful situations, whether that's personal, whether that's physical, but cortisol can be a culprit of extra belly fat storage because it puts your body in fat storing mode and muscle breakdown mode. So therefore, you will find it way more difficult to lose belly fat if you are chronically stressed. And actually, as women age, we become far more sensitive to cortisol because of how our female hormones change. Estrogen and progesterone decline as we age, therefore increasing our cortisol sensitivity, and that means that it could increase our likelihood of storing stubborn belly fat. So the first step, you bet, is lowering that cortisol. But how do we do it? You see, the way that we lower cortisol is usually the opposite of what most women will do and have been trained to believe through all the social media information nowadays, which is very conflicting. But we've been trained to believe that in order to lose belly fat, we need to restrict calories significantly. We need to do powerful, intense workouts and cardio to burn extra calories. And that is going to create the biggest calorie deficit. So we should expect to lose the greatest amount of body fat, right? Well, no. Actually, it does the worst thing it could possibly do, especially for a woman that is not like a spring chicken in her 20s anymore, because we will increase our body's baseline level of cortisol. Cortisol naturally fluctuates over time throughout the day, but that can start to become chronically elevated, which is a disaster for fat loss. And this happens as a result of very intense physical workouts where your heart rate is really elevated for a prolonged period of time. Think F45, Orange Theory, anything like intense running, that can put so much impact and fatigue through the body that you can be in a chronically stressed state. And then also just emotional regulation. Many women have very busy careers, they've got demanding families, they're givers, and they feel emotionally, spiritually fatigued because they're giving so much away. And if you don't pour back into your own cup and actually down regulate a very stressed nervous system, you will again have that cortisol chronically elevated. So, what do you need to do as a woman in your 30s and 40s to begin seeing stubborn belly fat disappear? You actually need to not completely restrict your calories to be like 1,000, 1,200 per day. You need to not absolutely obliterate your body with intense training. And you need to learn how to be calmer, how to be a Zen queen. But that is easier said than done, right? James Clear once said that you do not rise to the level of your goals, but you fall to the level of your systems. And this is quite simply what my 5-step flat belly protocol is. It's systems that you can put into your day to day, which guarantee that you will melt stubborn belly fat faster than ever before because you are lowering your cortisol and you're putting yourself in a manageable and sustainable calorie deficit. So, step number 1, prioritize 7 to 9 hours of good quality sleep per night. And I coach my clients as well as I put this into my own protocols, which is a 3-2-1 rule. 3 hours before bed, no more food. You have your final meal 3 hours before bed or still within daylight hours because your body will not sleep well if you are still digesting food and you have recently eaten. 2 hours before bed, don't drink any more water. try to cut off lots of fluid intake around 2 hours pre-bed. If you need to sip on a drink, that's fine. But if you're glugging water or drinking a hot cup of tea just before you go to sleep, you're going to be waking up in the middle of the night to go and pee. So 2 hours before bed, make sure that you're not drinking any more water, and I highly recommend stopping work. If you can stop work so that you're not working late and you can allow your brain a little bit of time to relax, that will be really helpful for your sleep quality. And then 1 hour pre sleep, this is where if you take bedtime supplements, you should take them, such as magnesium bisglycinate, ashwagandha, L-theanine, valerian root extract. Any of these supplements which are helpful in aiding sleep, take them 1 hour pre sleep. But anything that you take supplement wise will be completely obliterated in effectiveness if you are doom scrolling, if you're watching TV, if you're exposed to blue light. So 1 hour before bed, get rid of all screens. Do not, I repeat, spend time on your phone watching TV, doing work, because blue light dissolves melatonin, which is your sleepy hormone. So you want to spend that final hour before bed having a bath, doing skincare, having a conversation with your partner, journaling, stretching, meditating, whatever it is that does not involve little bright rectangular triangles or big ones if it's the TV or your computer screen. That is the 3-2-1 rule for amazing quality sleep. Would you believe that only 10% of you who listen to this channel are subscribed? If you truly value becoming your healthiest and happiest self, then show up consistently. This is free information which is going to change your life forever and help you feel so much better. So do me a favor, hit subscribe, and I'll keep bringing you amazing content just like this. Once your cortisol levels can begin to reset from getting better sleep, the next most effective thing that you can do is balance your blood sugar levels. I will keep this very simple for you. You need to make sure that you're eating high protein meals with lots of fiber every 3 to 4 hours. I recommend at least 30 grams of protein per meal, plenty of variety in the fruits and veggies that you eat, limit refined sugars and processed carbohydrates, and cut off caffeine completely after 2 p.m., perhaps even earlier if you're sensitive to caffeine, because caffeine causes cortisol spikes. Regulate your blood sugar levels, sleep better, and we are on our way to seeing fat loss get much faster. Regulating your stress daily is the third step of the 5-step flat belly protocol, because if you are in a chronically emotionally stressed state, you will never be able to see the results that you could see if you were a calmer person. So what does this look like? This looks like regularly talking about what is stressing you out, making an action plan towards it, and doing something about it. Or it is doing activities that help to naturally bring down stress. This is laughter. This is touching and hugging loved ones. This is doing something which is creative so that you feel like you're in a flow state. Perhaps you're journaling, perhaps you're meditating, and you are being more present, more mindful. Maybe you go for a meditative walk. Whatever it might be, you have to become an expert at regulating your central nervous system. When you're in fight or flight mode, you're anxious, you're overwhelmed, you're angry, all of this really crazy energy state is just going to cause you so much suffering for your whole life and then affect your health. It could even manifest into an autoimmune condition. Trust me when I say your investment into learning how to journal, how to meditate, downloading these apps, using ChatGPT to give you journal prompts of what you're dealing with, and putting pen to paper is going to change your life. Breathwork videos on YouTube. The more that you learn how to regulate your breath and you go and you feel calm, the more that you can do that in stressful situations, the lower your cortisol is. And guess what? You're going to look much better for it too. Step number 4, walk more, sprint less. So many women think that more is better in fat loss. They think running, high intensity, lots of calorie burn, and that is so stressful for your body. So stressful. Yes, if you enjoy running or jogging or the odd higher intensity class, that's fine, but don't make it the core of everything that you do. The more that you can walk, which is so low impact, puts you present in nature, it's just going to help so much. So much. If you're not already doing at least 10,000 steps a day, change that. Get to nailing 10,000 steps a day before you even think about incorporating any cardio. Resistance training, that's a whole different kettle of fish. You should be resistance training regardless, at least 2 to 3 times per week. But don't do any cardio or any workout classes until you've got 10,000 steps per day nailed. That is going to increase your calorie burn naturally in a way that is not stressful, and it will definitely support your fat loss goals. The final step of the 5-step flat belly protocol is to reduce your inflammation and bloating. This can be done by something that I referenced earlier, which is reducing inflammatory foods, processed foods, refined sugars, oils. Eat more natural whole foods high in protein. Make sure that you are eating plenty of probiotic rich foods. This is sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, tempeh, soybeans, tofu, certain cheeses. These amazing, absolutely amazing superfoods have healthy gut bacteria that allow fiber to be broken down, and therefore you don't produce as much gas, and therefore you have less bloating. You have a much healthier gut microbiome. So eat your probiotic rich foods, reduce inflammatory foods, and don't forget, alcohol is one of the most inflammatory things that you can put into your body. It might not be a food, but it's technically a poison. So reduce your alcohol intake, and you will find that belly gets flatter and flatter, not only from reduction in bloating, but also because you're losing body fat faster. Now, I'd like to give you a real life example so that you can actually see what this looks like in practice. Here is my client, Kate. She came to me at 44 years old. She was perimenopausal and she had been working out for many, many years. And she said, no matter what I'm doing, I just can't seem to shift this belly fat. She has a very high pressure job where she is sedentary most of the time behind a desk, and a couple of days of the week she has to go into the office. She was doing consistent workout classes, 3 to 4 workout classes per week with an amazing trainer that was really getting her to sweat and putting her through it. She wasn't eating much, and what she was eating was really healthy. But the thing is, especially where Kate's hormones were at, because she was perimenopausal and she was on HRT, she really needed to make sure that she was working with her body and not against it. Honestly, she was underfueling, she was overworking and therefore undersleeping, and she was pushing her body to its absolute limits whilst not fueling it enough. Too many carbs, not enough protein, not enough regular meals because she would skip breakfast, sometimes she'd skip lunch, and then by the end of the day she was ravenous, and before she knew it, she'd be overeating. When I said to Kate, this is what I need you to do. I need you to work out less. I need you to make sure that you're eating more. And I need you to prioritize sleeping like an extra 3 or 4 hours a night. She was like, hold on a second. You're telling me I need to move less, sleep more, and eat more. Isn't that the complete opposite of what people should do for fat loss? And she didn't trust me at first. She was very, very hesitant. But the only thing that Kate had to rely on was the track record results that her friends had got at Team CBM. Because Kate was referred by one of her friends who had an amazing fat loss transformation. And Kate thought, you know what? Like, what have I got to lose? I've tried everything. I've done every diet under the sun. What have I got to lose? So she took a chance and she started coaching with us. And within 6 months, she was well over 26 pounds down. She looked amazing in a bikini, and she said that it was the most confident she'd felt in 20 years. And she has maintained that fat loss ever since. My point to you is, you have to start working smarter with your body, not against your body, as you probably have been doing unknowingly. But this is the science-backed information that most fitfluencers won't tell you about. They're trying to trick you into starving yourself or sticking to like ridiculous fad diets or silly exercises. And I promise you, it doesn't sound sexy, but you regulate your hormones, you treat your body with love, care, and respect, and the results will be incredible. So if, like Kate, you're trying everything and you're not seeing results, you are at your wit's end and you really just want to feel confident in your body and healthy, we can create a customized plan for you. We can make your body happier from a hormonal perspective, from a fitness perspective, and also from a confidence perspective, both inside and out. And all you need to do is just hit the apply button below. We are currently launching our 12-week Summer Sculpt program, so we're looking for applicants that could be a great fit to work with us at Team CBM. And if you'd like us to create your custom coaching program, then apply below so that we can get back to you on if you'd be a good fit.